All right, so welcome, guys. This is our first official podcast. All right, that's
I'm reading this every day.
of course. Get used to that, guys. All right, so I'm a Shadow Force 96. Most people just call me Maddie, though, and I don't really mind either way. And I'm joined here with my two friends today for our first podcast.
Alright, I guess I'll go first. What's up, guys? Refer to me as Foss. That's all you really need to know. I really like romance, slice of life, genre, stuff like that. But mostly anything that keeps me entertained.
J-Fan, the boy himself. Uh, mainly watch. I mainly watch stuff for character development, and not much like recently. I've been more in the novels.
Thank you, Dark Half.
Yeah. So I guess since we're doing the intros and stuff, I already introduced myself, but I'm like the lesser of both or the least of these three, or of the three. I'm mainly like a JRPG and like Japanese gamer. I do watch anime. Not as much nowadays, but I've been reading a few mangas and that's about it. So most of my content comes from like video games or past experience anime. But
You mean
What's
of these
your
two halves?
favorite anime?
yeah, I'm sorry, of these two halves. What was that?
What's your favorite show so
Oh god, favorites are always hard to pick for me because it's like I have like tiers, where like it's a tier list,
Something in your top tier.
In my top tier, well, the three that came to mind were Angel Beats, Chunibyo, and then Parasite. Those are like my top three. That like came to my mind instantly. So that should give you about a decent read of where my anime tastes lie. All right. So on that note, then I don't know. Where do you guys want to start this podcast off at exactly?
Damn, what a crappy host. Doesn't even know where to start.
Come on, guys. It's my first time doing this too. I mean, let's come on. We're here to bounce ideas off of each other, So
I mean, we can start with what we were talking about last night.
We'll just start with like.
Oh, we
some
could
of-
do, yeah, we could do
start with
favorites.
like our favorites, so people have a grasp of like where we are
oh, okay.
and on the spectrum.
All right. So
So starting with that, J-Fan, we already heard from Matty Boy, so what's
Yeah.
up with you?
Alright, so as I said earlier, I read a lot of novels nowadays. I usually watch for stuff like character development. So my favorite show is Origairu because it's literally like character development the show. I'm also a big fan of the Fate franchise, Steins Gate, stuff like that. That would be
I
my
guess that-
top.
And I guess that just leaves me on last. Probably not.
Okay.
I can't tell you if it's the top ones, but I guess it's stuff that I've really connected to and what it's done for me. Probably the top ones I'd probably say Anohana, Clannad, both seasons, and probably one of the recent ones was probably Konosuba, just for what it is and what it's done.
So well, you said you liked Clan of both seasons, and I know a lot of people mainly thought After Story was like
The better of the two.
really-
Yeah.
I'm one of those
was,
people.
like, a
So
So
yeah.
I want to know your opinion on those people. And
Yeah, that's not really. That's fine. I totally agree with what they say and why they think it's a lot better. The story in After Story does really complete the circle of really encompassing of what the story really does for as like a couple and for how Tomoya goes through his life as an adult after losing someone important to him. So part of that is like it's really good, but then at the same time the reason why season one was really good in that aspect was that season one wasn't really meant to be that kind of romance, that drama, that big overall message of being appreciative of what it is, or making sure that everything is you just have to focus on what it is right now. And so season one does well is all the comedic bits that it does, especially with I think it's Sunohara, yeah,
Sunohara. Yep.
and everything that they do with each other, like with Tomoya and Sunohara, and how they met and how they interact with each other and how they react in their normal daily lives, and just all the comedic little bits just gave it so much flavor and flair into it. It just makes the show more alive, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier, and it was just like For me, I totally understand that standpoint too, but it was just for me. Like, I don't like the manufactured drama of people who watch the series know that he's gonna eventually end up with Nagisa, and there were times where it's just like kind of manufactured drama, and I wasn't too appreciative of that. But I did really like learning of all the other girls' stories and seeing how he interacted with people. And I think for season one, the main appeal for most people was kind of just like in general, like seeing him interact with other people, and like you're right, the fun like side stories basically.
And I really think like that going off of that, it's like more of it should be more of like a comedic thing instead of the romance kind of plot line. They are still in high school, so having all of the events really click in there, and just because it's a manufactured drama doesn't necessarily mean it's bad or like unnecessary. I think it's just that it's the drama that it's created from its first season. It's mostly from like the interactions from each other and how they go about each other despite having what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know. Just know that these dramas come from the different routes, of course, and you know that. But
Yeah.
it's to show all these different relationships that the main character has with all these different people.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that drama is just a part of that because, it's not gonna be like you're gonna avoid drama with these people. That's just not possible. So it's just like it's kind of in a way creating a tie to reality, knowing that all this drama is a benefactor of knowing the protagonist and the best friend and all these different people within the story.
Yeah, yeah. I guess this is going to be a little meta, but part of it I feel like is also just the fact that it was based off the visual novel, and they have to fit in all those arcs somehow. So as like a medium, rather like a medium showing another medium, you have to get all of the side stories in because you're never going to please everyone. Because you can't like you can't have Tomoya end up with everyone in the end. So you have to go with the canon girl Nagisa, but they have to still show off, like Kyo, Ryo. Oh God, what was my favorite girl's name? Kotomi?
Tomoyo?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
Kotomi.
Kotomi Chinose.
Dude, her
She's the best
yeah,
one. One of the
her
best.
story was great. I love that. It was so sad.
Kyo's still too good. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. But yeah. So, J-Fan, you were talking about you're mainly reading like novels nowadays.
Because I haven't.
Yeah, no, I know, but you were talking about you're mainly reading like novels nowadays. Anything like good? I don't really follow many mangas anymore or anything. So,
Stuff I've been reading recently. I've linked this to you earlier. The Evil Organization Recruitment ad.
Yeah,
is a enjoyable look at like a grunt that's evil, but he's evil not because it's like a different take on what it means to be evil.
yeah.
Instead of like your stereotypical antagonist like blow shit up, it's more of like the thinking man's evil, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, is it like okay. Asking someone if they think something is good or not is always a very subjective question. But like, is it enjoyable to someone who's like, I don't know, for me even, like doesn't really read much nowadays and isn't really into that kind of thing?
You say that. You say. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt, but
it would
you can
make
you
me
say
think
things.
You might not enjoy it though.
Oh, okay.
You say things are like weird when people say good or bad, but we can all agree some things are just all bad.
That's
School
true.
Day, excuse me.
That's true. There's always things that are like good and bad, but I'm trying to be like as objective as possible, keep an open mind, because like I also want to respect the fact that everyone has different tastes, and like my tastes differ greatly from like the next person's. So I don't
Yes,
want to
we
make a
know,
general.
but
Yeah.
we can all agree School Days is bad.
There you go. All right, there you go. Everyone here can
Not-
attest to
not
that.
Not crap on School Days.
There you go.
Anyway,
But it's like,
So, there are arguments both ways though. Some would say that not that School Days would be good, but the ending, like the main character
it was
had
satisfying.
coming for him.
It was satisfying.
Yeah.
It has one of the best. It has one of the best endings.
yeah.
I'll say that much. Just because I hated him.
Oh God.
No, you don't understand. I hated him so much.
You're supposed. Okay, in that sense, though, they did it right because you're supposed to hate. You're supposed to hate him, so you're supposed to enjoy that
It's
ending.
like a
Yeah.
I don't know if he's supposed to be hated. More of like I know this thing was based on like a real life
Well,
event. according from what I've heard. But it's
I think it was
I
based
don't
off a
think
visual novel, but it was like,
Mm, but I think it's more like he's just this one thing, and he's hated because of what he does,
Yeah.
but not per se of his character. And it's just like he's doing this because he actually doesn't think he's doing anything wrong, and it's like, no, you wait, stupid.
yeah,
What
no,
are you
and,
doing?
in that sense though, like School Days itself was apparently supposed to be a sort of satire on this like anime style of romance where you just romance everyone, right? And like that's just kind of normal. But so it's supposed to be a satire in the sense of this is what would realistically happen if you're going around romancing every girl you see. In an extreme, I guess, because hopefully no one would actually
Very
murder you.
extreme.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it would be realistic. It's exaggerated.
Okay, yeah, an
Or-
exaggerated reality. But so we never really went over because you've watched anime too. So what are your kind of like favorites, I guess, or like tops?
We went over that.
Did we?
You
Did we
went
go over
like
that?
the Fate.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Fate,
the Fate franchise and
Yeah.
Origairu.
And see, those are things I can't really attest to because I know of Fate. I've been recommended to watch it. I just never could get into it. But
I just never like got around to doing it.
yeah,
There's just too many things to
All the
watch.
Fate franchises start very slowly.
I've heard, yeah. Although I always see like really good art of Fate stuff, and I love good art, so I'm always like tempted because pretty art is very tempting for me.
And then you realize you don't know who it is, and you're just like,
Yeah, I know. It's like, man, this character looks great. I have no idea like what this character could be the villain for all I know.
Franchise is like so vast that I look up artworks and I'm like, who the hell is that?
Oh God, yeah.
It's a gorgeous artwork though, so I'm saving it.
Oh right
no,
then.
it's like I think it's a good parallel from when I went to AX this year. It's like I didn't play P5 before AX, and I go over there. It's like, oh look, it's on. Wait, no, it's Junko.
Yeah. Oh God.
I know
Now we're
that
getting.
now, but-
See, now we're getting to my territory. There's the Danganronpa stuff. There you go. For me, like,
Yeah, let's just go into that. Let's just move on to that now, since if we were go into that little tangent there
What,
about
with-
the JRPGs and stuff like that, and how
JRPG
they might be a little bit different than
oh,
the normal traditional anime.
yeah, because like JRPG game, like the video gaming media for the anime, like the Japanese video gaming world is similar and different at the same time, and I think you understand what I mean because I'm thinking like Persona. So in many ways,
Elaborate.
it's similar in the sense where like yes, you can still go around and like romance all the girls and just be the like you can be the Gary Stu character if you want. And in Persona games, because I'm just gonna go Persona because that's what I'm thinking right now, and that's what my character is, or for the portrait. But like in the end, you know, once you max out all your stats, you're basically a god. You're walking around. You can like you have the guts to talk to anyone. You're kind enough to like help anyone. You're smart enough to just pass all your tests without even trying. And like probably by the late game, you have all these like god tier summons that just one shot everything. But at the same time, like the story development in the games are very realistic. Like I love the stories of the Persona games because in the games, even though the characters feel broken to play, in the story aspects, they're still like flawed characters. They're still growing, and they still have a lot of like, I don't know, just they're very three-dimensional characters. When sometimes in anime, I feel like they're very flat and two-dimensional. Haha.
In some situations, more or less, but that's just the way the story progresses in the Persona games versus the anime. Or
Yeah.
versus an anime. It's just like because it's an anime that they can take more of a restriction with what they're doing. They can be more unrestricted, of what they're doing in comparison to like Persona, where it's like you're the other side characters of the party really can't do X and X because it's in the realm of the video game, and so they
Yeah.
have the story has to make sense with what's going on and how the characters can adapt to that. So I think it's more of a restriction on the video games having to feel like there's a sense of progression rather than they're just not doing it because they don't want to.
Well, yeah, but okay, we were okay. On that note, kind of, my other friend and I were talking about like why P5 was like a standout game for us at least, and that's because at the beginning, it's so good, and at the
Still
beginning,
haven't finished it.
I still have not finished it because I just God, I need to get around to it. Fucking Burger King, but oh God, am I gonna get copyright for that? Hopefully not.
I
But
will
like
literally go over to your house
Just say
and watch you
Burger
play
King,
it.
like
nothing. No,
And
no.
I will literally go over to your house and watch you play it
Oh God.
if that'll make you play it. I
No,
will
no, no.
100% do it.
I will finish it. I'm actually planning to finish it later this week. But basically, like
Better
at the
do it.
beginning of the game, like On and Ryuji, they didn't feel like the typical like the typical pretty girl and side character friend as in all the rest of the Persona games. Because like Ryuji's whole thing was that he's not actually a delinquent, right? He just kind of got forced into that position because of the thing that happened to him. And I'm trying not to spoil just in case. But like
Yeah.
but then my problem was like, and that was really good because On wasn't just a pretty girl, and you find out more about that as the story progresses. So it almost seemed like they were trying to break that like character troping. But then slowly as the game progressed, they kind of regressed to their character roles. Ryuji was stupid for the sake of being stupid, and On just kind of became the ditzy airheaded girl that likes to eat food. But at the beginning, at least, it almost seemed like they were starting to break out of that mold, and that really fits that P5 theme of like masks and your hidden self, and I really like that. That's something I really like just a story I really like, I guess.
But the thing is, they go back into the tropes, but not they didn't go back all the way per se. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
that. Like you can't say that they fully regressed into their stupid roles or like whatever, because later on it's like you haven't finished it, so you really won't know. But it's like Ryuji's been stupid across the whole game.
Yeah.
If his quotes are any indication, and it's the thing is he's influenced by what happened to him. Same with On, and like throughout the game, it's not mentioned more throughout because you understand their character traits,
Yeah.
and it's more of a forgotten thing that you forget, quote unquote, that you forget that they have this background that makes it seem like they fall into their traits more. But it's because you explored their character development and their background so early on that you forget it as you go later in the game. Whereas when you have more characters to keep track of and more characters that they want to develop more of later
Yeah.
on, and that's probably why it seems that way. But in my opinion, I think it's more of like they're just looking at more of here's a story. All right, this is how they background, and then interactions from how they acted because of what happened.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand. I agree with that. Where it's like you can only develop a character too much. Like if you're gonna develop Ryuji at the beginning and then his arc kind of like finishes and you keep developing him, it's gonna feel really overdone. So I agree on that aspect. It's just like for once I would like to see maybe the delinquent character doesn't just kind of fill his role of being the delinquent. Maybe he's actually some intellectual. I mean that'd be really bad if it was Ryuji that was done that way because that would be stupid. But I just personally would like to see for once someone break a mold or something. But that's just me.
uh, that happens like decently often in like a lot less popular stuff because
Oh yeah, for
'cause
sure.
I read a lot of novels, right? And
Yeah.
novels are mostly like the precursors to anime, but some of them aren't like as popular, so they won't become anime. And like, I've read a couple novels like this. Let me look up my old list to like find a couple examples because there's like it happens, but sometimes people don't have that good of a reception to it because
Yeah.
they expected something and they didn't want to. I'll post the name in chat.
Okay. But that's one of the things I kind of wanted to touch on, and I was hoping someone would like bring up a tangent I could talk to it about, which is, yeah, like anime has a very like defined kind of storytelling, right? Like there's the hero that usually needs to get something done, and he's either, I like to say there's maybe two types of heroes. There's the Gary Stews that can just like they have the natural talent and can do whatever they want, and they're just like super strong. Or there's a type that needs to try their hardest and like they have nothing, but they're trying to build up to it. And I feel like the second is like usually lesser liked because people just like seeing someone that can do it without having to like try at all.
Well,
can kind
it
of-
depends on
okay.
how the Gary Stew is perceived, in my opinion, because a lot of people like see the super powerful character, and it's the self-insertable characters where they have like low personality, so they see it and they can project themselves onto that super powerful person, and they feel
Mhm.
better about themselves because of it. So like that's like a level of like base popularity, but some Gary Stew characters are so like abnormally powerful that they become unrelatable.
Yeah.
And that's how that character can kind of shine. like One Punch Man, right?
Yeah.
Saitama, super fucking strong. Is this a PD stream?
No,
I
it's
hope
not.
not.
It's we've sworn already.
But no one can relate to Saitama because of how absurdly strong he is, which makes him likable, if not relatable.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'd argue that the thing that's relatable about Saitama is the fact that even though he's a hero, he's about as average of a person as he can. Like, aside from his superpower aside, he's just like the everyday man. He goes to the market, he has to shop for food, he likes playing video games, and he's just kind of like a dude. And when you read the manga, he's like a nice guy too, which makes him relatable. But then that superpower just puts him on that like next level that's funny to read about, you know?
But that's more of like, it's the tropes done in shonens done well,
Yeah.
and it's like take Bleach for example. It's just
Ugh.
the main character just gets crazy, 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 crazy strong, and it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just taking the tropes done in shonens and just doing it really, really well. And that got from One Punch Man got evolved into Boku no Hero, where
Yeah.
it's like super, really well done traits of a shonen genre, just made and packaged well.
Yeah. I'd agree. What's
Yeah,
the
going
common?
on to, like going off of like the kind of sub insert or like the main characters and stuff like that, I can kind of make the argument for I know you guys have. I don't think anyone's watched either of you two or anyone in our little friend group has watched Gamers, and it I regret everything.
I've heard about. I heard it's actually not worth the watch, but
I
No,
read
it's
the
not.
first
Okay,
chapter, and
yeah.
I was like, "What am
It's
I
not worth
reading?"
it.
And then I
It's not
stopped.
worth it. I
Yeah.
watched it because I was hopeful.
that's what I heard a
And-
lot of people did. So
Yeah. It had. I am so sad. The titles was so misleading. It had so much potential. Get episode 1. It's like showing all the esports stuff. Hey, look, it's fake CS:GO. Look, it's so not Blaze Blue. It's
oh god.
something, and I'm like, this is everything I wanted. And then it's just like, no, it's just your standard slice of life with
With
your main character being as boring as like
oh no.
a paint one,
Wait,
the
on the
white
topic
paint wall.
of self-insert. Alright, sorry. Will you finish?
But I mean, yeah, it's like the whole point of that is just so boring because it's just like you say like there's two characters where it's like the Gary Seal that can do everything, whereas and then the self insert who has to try super hard to try and achieve that.
Yeah.
Where in Gamers, it's not either of the two, and I know that's different because it's not the same as like a more fighting anime or like conflicts with fighting blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, Fairy Tail or DBZ or something like that, but it's not either because of how he's acting, and it's really awkward to say that when
Okay.
Gamers is a very clear example of not showing it either of the two, where it's just like a third kind of other category.
Yeah. So, J-Fan, you were saying about the
well-
self-inserts?
Two things about that. It's not really an other category. It's just like you can't say another category for a personality that doesn't exist really.
That's also true. That's also true
But-
because he really
Yeah.
doesn't.
I also read a lot of Xianxia novels. I don't know if Matt is familiar with this. Almost certain Nam is not. But Xianxia goes in like the opposite direction, right? Because in novels, like the most popular Japanese genre, isekai, most popular, sorry, the most popular Chinese category is
Yeah.
Xianxia. And Xianxia characters are they have a personality. They aren't the people that don't. It's not like Gamers where they don't have like any personality. They have a personality, but it's all the same personality because it is the idealized personality.
Yeah, okay,
And-
yeah.
Which do you think is better, like the super ideal or the non-existent?
Voss, you want to go first?
That's interesting.
I'll let you go first because I have something I want to say, but yeah.
That's a hard thing to really decide because of the factors of each one and the flaws. It's like the super idealized is like you just have this amazing personality, but then it's just like where's the flaw? And I think that's a lot of like a charm of a show can come from is the flaws of X character or even the protag. And so
Hmm.
if it loses that kind of personality trait of a flaw, it kind of creates a disconnect from the other shows or a reality showing that this is like an ideal thing. He just is like the perfect person. But in comparison to that, a no personality just creates a super boring show. It's like in Scene of Gamers, it's just super boring, or it's just not enjoyable to read or watch.
Yeah. I was okay. The thing I had to say was, I think it's based on like the viewer, really. Like, what are you looking for in anime? If you're looking for like the character to be someone you're aiming to be, then the ultimate idealized person is basically what you want, because that gives you something to like. Oh, this character is something I want to be like, and it gives you something to like. I guess not work towards, but like look up to in a way. Whereas the
I
self
think it's still work for it.
yeah, well, I guess work towards. But then, like, the self-insert is the one that everyone, when you want an escape from reality, you want to feel like this could be me, like this could be me in another world with my friend group, and I feel like in that, if that's what you're looking for, then that's when you want the self-insert. So it's really like up to the viewer, I guess.
Slight side note here. Some Shanshia protagonists are like kind of rapey, and
Wow.
that is not endorsed.
Y-
Like-
yeah.
Don't do that.
You said these were Chinese comics, right? Like the Chinese version of
Yeah.
manga. Yeah. The ideal like stuff in China is kind of weird. Well, yeah. Respect women, people. That's about all I can say about that. But like, I don't know. So how do well, J-Fan? You're the one that brought it up, but we didn't actually hear your opinion on it. How do you feel about the whole like self-insert versus just idealized?
I think that both of them lend to a boring way of storytelling. Whereas one character, you don't care what happens, and the other character, you know that they're always going to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the saving grace for the idealized character, assuming they're not like rapey, is that you know they succeed, but you can still watch to try to find out how they succeed, instead of the other character where you don't really care as much.
Really? Wait,
So
you were saying for the
that is-
idealized?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like the more of the how of like
If the-
yeah, it's like it's like the saying the journey. It's more about the journey, not the destination, and it's in a way it's
like
the same thing.
watching No Game No Life, right?
Yeah.
You know they'll win. You just
Do you want to know how?
how they'll get there.
See, for me, I feel like I'm on the opposite side here because I actually really prefer the type that like works hard for it, the self-insert that works hard to achieve the goal. Because for me, yeah, it's all about the journey, right? So I want to see how he grows, and I'm thinking right now is Boku no Hero, and I know just a manga, but I really like seeing how Deku
There's two
learns.
seasons of anime.
Huh?
There's 2 seasons of anime. It's not just
Oh,
a manga.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah, there's an anime, but I was just thinking of the Boku no Hero manga where I really like seeing how Deku grows, and he goes from this kid that's really weak, he has no power, but he really wants to try, and he's willing to give up everything to do it, and I like those types of stories.
I just think that's a different.
Deku has a very defined personality, right?
Yeah,
Like from episode 1 what Deku wishes to be, and you see, like especially in the parts where he's like idolizing some heroes and he's just like muttering off that he's not just like an average normal person, right? He's still a bit beyond that.
yeah.
So he doesn't really fit like the no
I
personality,
yeah.
which
Okay.
would more be aligned with like someone like Ichigo, who like doesn't have really big defining traits. He like protects his friends, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not much.
Speaking of which, where do we all kind of stand on Bleach? I just want to make sure.
I liked it up until after they killed Aizen.
I liked. I got all the way there. I got all the way until they had filler arcs in a fight scene.
How
Well, the reason I stayed because it was like one of the first things I watched. So it was like I wanted to see, and then I was like after Aizen's like, for it.
I liked how the powers worked, like the katanas like transforming and stuff. That was super
Dude,
fucking cool.
that was so cool.
It's like so sick. but the protagonist is garbage.
If they,
Rest
oh,
girl
dude,
loses.
if they dude, imagine a remade Bleach, like a remastered version of Bleach, where it's actually like not stupid.
With like a real
Imagine a remastered Bleach where it's actually good. Yeah.
It'd be so cool. Are you kidding me?
I know, but I feel like that statement could be about anything. Imagine blank, but if it was good. Like...
But no, you cannot say that about School Days.
Okay, fair enough.
I will.
You know what? I take it back. You win.
It depends on what part of School Days you don't like, though, because there are good yandere stories out there.
And no.
Uh,
That story was so bad.
That depends. Did you think the ending of Mirai Nikki was good?
Did not watch that, but it's like the reason why the ending of Bleach, if Bleach was rethought and remastered into like a different show of like a similar concept, and why it'd be so dope, is because of the fact that they had all the the transforming swords into like the different things and all their bodkais and crap.
Yeah.
It is so cool. Like the thought of that is so cool. It's like
It's a good concept that just wasn't executed well, right?
I think
It's
yeah, I
similar
think,
to
but that's just
Ultimate
because it was
Hero,
old.
actually, where everyone has a slightly different power, and you get to see them manipulate their power to achieve victory.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's like yeah. It's I think it's I think you could call that the remastered Bleach per se, but it's not a 1-to-1, obviously. But if there was one, it'd be so dope. I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
All right. I see. Personally, I watched like a bit of Bleach back in like middle school, and I personally didn't like it, so I never really like kept up with it. But if they did it well, I from what I remember, if they did it like better, I probably would watch it. You're right. I'd probably give it a watch.
Yeah, dude. No, when they went into the Soul Society and tried to save Ruki for the first time, it's like him and Ichigo's battling Byakuya. Oh my god, it was so cool. Anyway,
Oh.
Childhood memories.
But okay, I every time you guys said like good potential or like remade but better, I guess since we're doing the D&D campaign now too, I just can't help but think of Sword Art Online. Just wasted potential of the anime, in my opinion.
It's still good.
I mean, it's like the fights
It
were
still
good.
kept
It's
you-
just
it
like
kept- yeah, the fights were
Photo
beautiful.
Online
But
that is better though. So World.
yeah,
Axel World.
Axel World. I did not like Axel World.
I did not watch it.
So
The last like 4 episodes were stupid, but
yeah, okay, I didn't even make it that far. So J fan, what was the appeal?
Oh.
What was the appeal of Axel World to you? God, like
Boy, I watched like one episode. I gave
so
up.
instead of like the nerve gear,
yeah,
at that point like all the kids and people have plans where they do all their stuff.
yeah,
They're like basically cyborgs.
yeah.
A little bit. And the concept of Axel World is that having a character in Axel World allows them to stop time briefly, which can be used for a lot of stuff. Like, I think some people used it for like exams. Someone used it like save someone that was about to get hit by a car. Right? There's like a ton of uses, but to get more uses, you have to like duel people.
Yeah.
Right? And if you lose it, like you lose your powers forever and you can't come back.
Yeah.
That's like the main premise of it.
I just think like
And it was just,
SAO
like,
in comparison. Yeah, it's super cool, but like you say that's better, but in what way? Because I don't think like SAO yes had its flaws. The Protect was too strong. He like, there wasn't really much of a way of hoping for a how. You just knew he did it, and then the way he did it was kind of BS.
Well, okay, and therein lies the problem. You ask what my problem is, and that's it. Is I've played MMOs before, and I guess as a gamer who's like played those type of games, it's like there is no way a solo player could realistically do everything he's doing, and it's just like I guess watching characters devolve like as characters is always a huge turnoff for me. Like in the first episode, Asuna I think it's the second episode actually. Asuna and Egil are introduced as like really cool fighters. Asuna slowly devolves into the helpless, just like the princess waiting to be saved in her castle, and Egil just becomes a vendor. Like you built up two characters that had potential and then dropped them, and then you just build up Kirito as this basically God who can do everything, and I really don't like that personally.
I mean, that's fine.
Why I like Axel World though, because the main character of Axel World is very clear what his flaws are. Right? He's like a short, fat like kid, right?
Yeah.
And he's just like super depressed with his life. And the cool thing is, in Axel World, they have avatars, and their avatars come from their greatest fears.
Yeah.
Like realized.
And so he's a pig. I remember that.
Or the greatest fears and the greatest like hopes, right?
Yeah.
So he's the only avatar with wings because of how much he just wants to escape the boundaries and like soar.
Yeah. But then, I can't remember. His avatar's like a pig though, isn't it?
His avatar's a pig in like the school thing.
Oh,
His
okay.
avatar's just like a silver buff dude with wings.
Oh, is it? Okay, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't watch far enough. I guess I never got far enough to get to that. But I just remember like there's a point for me where the character is like unlikable enough or like too real. You know when things are too real and they hit too close to home. Yeah.
Yes.
Like there's a point where it's like, no, if I wanted to experience this, I'd just go outside, walk around for a bit. But
But tying back to the point of why you don't like Kirito and what he does,
Yeah.
and the character tropes that they evolved back into. I guess I'll agree, kind of, but he's still shown like he's not particularly shown as like a vendor, but it's just he's not the main focus to see the combat, but he's still on the front lines.
yeah, that's
Like
true.
and like when they're fighting the last boss before they get out, he is on the front lines and is one of the main tanks of
Yeah.
the whole community that's stuck in the game still. He's one of the main tanks. So I think like just because the fighting of Asuna and Egyo aren't shown doesn't mean that they haven't devolved into these tropes. It's just that they're not the focus. It's Kirito and he's the main one that we want to be focusing on. And yes, I agree, like there are limits to being a solo player, but when you consider how SAO works as a whole, it's not necessarily a same consistent MMO that we've come to know in our society.
Yes, that's true. So,
Whereas
anime
you
That's
have
also
raids,
why,
where you have like okay, let me finish this and you guys can go ahead. Where it's like raids, like I'm playing a game right now and there's 12 man raids for guilds specifically to help and do the raids themselves. Whereas in SAO, the raids are made up of the quote unquote front line, and they're up in the front line are split up into different guilds. And so, of course, the guilds are the facilitator to help you progress in the game. But if you can do it solo, and he's participating in the floor boss raids, him keeping up isn't necessarily too unrealistic. The raids are important because they move you up a floor one step closer to getting out and give you more gear and first pick at the new floor. But at the same time, he's being a part of the front line and he's consistently being up there. So I feel like it does make sense in that way when you consider how certain MMOs work like that and how SA is not the traditional MMO where you need a guild to do X raid, whereas now it's just the front line made up of multiple guilds do a raid.
I guess. All right. So, JFan, what were you gonna say?
So what I was talking about was my problem with Sword Art Online isn't Kirito, it's everyone around Kirito, because I know you didn't watch season 2, but
I
like,
will soon.
when Asuna makes her character in Alfheim, she makes a healer, and she goes from like the lightning flash, she used to be like super strong. There was like a point in the show where she like beat a bot, or a mini boss that Kirito did, and like she was super strong, and now she's just like, I sit here and I buff you and I heal you, and it's like she became a Negro basically.
I have a slight rebuttal to that, but if you I don't know if you finished your thought.
Alright, keep going. Alright.
No, you can go. I have something to say after that though. So. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, that's a big problem. She was so super strong, and she became a healer in Alfheim. But consider the context. Like again, you have to consider the context of SAO, and SAO as a game didn't have a class system, and there was no such thing as a healer per se. So you didn't have the option to choose like DPS, tank, or like healer skills, like in a traditional slot. But in this case, in Alfheim, she has a choice, and so she chose to do that. So you can't, and like I agree, she became an e-girl because that's she did, but you can't determine that she wouldn't have stayed with DPS given the choice because she was there was no choice to given with. It was just okay, I have to do this to be as efficient as possible. I just think like you not knowing her background, you can't assume that she devolved back into it. Well, I agree, she became more accustomed to the trope. It's not she didn't devolve back into it because they wrote her like that. It's just the way that it happened to be because of how the choices worked in the situations.
No, I mean, I agree with you there that it could have been her choice to be a healer, and that I don't even that's not even my main problem. My main problem is in season 1. While she's still the Lightning Flash and this like god tier frontliner that's supposed to be one of the highest DPS dealers in the game, and she chooses to max out cooking and become a housewife.
Because she can.
I mean, yeah, but
It's totally
You have
fine
spare
if you're stuck
you
there
have
for
spare
2
skills.
years to have a hobby.
Yeah, like that's
Because like if you don't have a hobby and left the game like Kirito, you might be strong. But,
yeah.
like,
Okay, and wait.
you're
Okay,
gonna you're gonna go crazy, dude.
so no lifing the game like Kirito. That was what I wanted to talk about actually. Was my problem was also not with Kirito exactly because Kirito was fine, I guess, ish as a character, like as an anime character rather. But my problem with Kirito was just that after what was his name died on the first boss, his decision to just
Devil.
yeah, after Devil died and his decision to just like internalize everything is just a trope that I hate. Where like, oh, I'll just take all of the no, idiot. Like if you had just talked it out like, hey, he was a beta player too. The game changed since the beta. Wouldn't that have solved all the problems?
No, not in the situation he was put in.
Why not?
Because,
Why couldn't you have just talked it through?
Do you not remember what happened after like the floor boss being dead?
Yeah.
It's like how Kibao like started calling a beta player and a cheater, so that's why he got the beater nickname. And they had uphold like the community that was all there upheld that image of that he was a cheater of the game, like, and there.
But
were
that was
many
caused
clear
by him
aspects.
because he was the one that like he was like, yeah, I don't compare me to a beta tester. I was better than all those idiots. And
But he was not. But he wasn't wrong.
I know, but still, it's like I feel like there could have been a way where he could have talked it out, or like, and then they further pushed his like individuality by when he joined the guild and the guild all died. It's like, okay, yes, but why did you hide your level to begin with?
Okay, yeah, that one is a big problem
How
to me.
do you hide your level to begin with?
I know, right?
When you press guild in any
yeah, you
game,
can
it
check.
tells you
You
everyone's
can check.
best level,
I know,
the
right?
first thing you see.
You can, if you're in a guild, you can check each other's profiles. So it's a little strange that he can hide the
Yeah.
like that. So, but I don't know. Like it was probably an ethics thing. If I were to try and explain it logically, like an ethics thing of like a higher level player being with a lower level guild, it's probably like maybe like a disrespect thing to like the guild or something
Maybe.
like that. Like I don't know, but that's just something that could possibly come up. I was confused with that as well, and I like SAO, so it's like it was a big
Okay,
problem, but it's
the
like,
thing is, I don't hate SAO. I just didn't like it either. Like I didn't love it either. It's like average.
well,
for me,
I don't think yeah, it's like okay. I think I told you this before, but one of the anime people that I followed way back did a really good job explaining what it was. It was like if a classic shonen's like your average, like a Naruto is
Yeah.
like a 5. SAO is just above that.
Yeah, just barely above it though for me.
Yeah, and like that's a really well said thing to say about SAO. 'cause
Yeah.
that's where it is.
And I'd say
because
it's a
of
good like
how it works.
yeah. I would say it's a good like starter anime for people who aren't too like,
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I've always hated that idea.
Really?
Of starter anime. Like I've always hated
Well,
that idea.
I hate the idea that there's a starter anime. For me, it's just I know there are people who think there's a stigma around anime being all about like like cute girls, anime girls, like lolicons and
Exclusivity.
yeah, exactly. And so
Oh yeah.
just like to introduce people to show them it's not all about what you think it is. Here's what anime is. Things like that. Actually,
Yeah, but, like-
yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah.
It's just like the starter anime. It's like it's always stuck with me because it's just like there's such a thing as starter,
Yeah.
and why is that a thing? Because of how it's working, and it's kind of weird to think. And it's like in my mind, there's no way to define a starter anime, and it's just and you can't really say. I don't think you can say that either because of just like
Yeah.
anime is more based on taste, like we talked about earlier in the show,
Yeah.
and it's just like I know some things are easier to watch. Like I'll agree. Like I hate the idea, but I have to agree that if you say SEO is a starter anime, I have to agree because it's just easier to watch.
Yeah.
I think it's not, for me at least, it's not like the starter anime, but there's anime that you should not watch if you start out. Because
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
tropes that
Oh,
they play
yeah.
on that you should be like aware of. Like Ino Battle relies a lot on the main character Ando's Chunibyo. And
Yep.
they don't talk about what Chunibyo is, so you have to watch other animes beforehand to
Yep.
really like get a grasp for it and like why that anime is as good as it is.
No,
Yeah,
no, no. I
you're getting the
100%
tropes.
agree. Yeah, 100% agree. Like, if your friend is like, "Hey, I want to start watching anime. What should I watch?" and you tell him or her, whoever it is, go watch Kill la Kill. You are the worst friend in the world because they're gonna go into that not knowing like that it's a parody, and they're just gonna be like, "Why are these people naked?" And they're gonna be very confused. Like they're just Nudisto. Bitch. Like there are just some things you can't start off with, you know. Whereas like
I think
yeah,
it's like I think it's now. Okay, dude, we're starting this now. I know we're nobodies, but we're starting this now. Not the starter anime. Animes you shouldn't watch. That's
yeah,
the start.
yeah. You're right. There
Don't
shouldn't
watch
be.
these.
There shouldn't be a starter anime. There should be like an anime no zone, you know, where like don't watch these until you understand more. Like
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. I think that's way better than saying it's a starter anime.
That's
it's
true.
Just anime that you can watch without any strings attached.
yeah. So for me, that's things like I guess the you know the easy one, Boruto's dad, things like that. Those are usually the easy ones to like get into.
Did
But
you
then,
just make that joke?
Yes, I did. We're starting that. We're starting that now. But
No, please.
but in all seriousness, though, like for me, I think like the easiest anime to watch, the one that like really drew me into anime was I think FMA Brotherhood. Like that was one of the first animes I watched, and that was
One
like
of the best across time.
yeah, and one of the best. Like I know, right? So that's just one that's like I think it's gonna be good. I don't think there's like it's just gonna be good. Period. Right? So
Yeah, it's just good.
it's just good. Yeah. So
On the topic of like the anime no-nos and stuff like that, most parody stuff falls under this. You would probably
Yeah.
agree with me.
Madoka
Yeah.
Magica.
well, I don't know.
did not-
Exception of
I- Yes. But like, yeah, I was
Because
like,
a lot of
that's-
people I know that don't watch a lot of anime watch One Punch Man, and they don't get a lot of like the
Well-
shonen parody jumps, but they still got like enjoyment out of it.
And that's because I think
So,
One
like,
Punch
how would
Man
you
Hmm?
rate things like that.
for like parodies. Well,
Yeah.
I think for One Punch Man, I think it's because One Punch Man did it right. They made it a parody that you could understand if you don't understand what it's parodying, because it's still a good shonen. Like if you're just gonna read it, right? But ooh, I don't know how many like quote unquote parodies I've seen besides Kill la Kill and Madoka. So
There is Konosuba.
oh right.
Oh,
I
Konosuba's
guess
so
I
good.
guess No Game No Life kind of counts. And
I
I
think No
mean-
Game No Life was more of like capitalizing on the traits that rather than being a parody.
Yeah.
It was just like, here's the traits normally seen, and this is how we're gonna make fun of it.
But in that sense, it's a parody, though, like because they're parodying the typical anime tropes. So, and I was gonna say School Days is technically a parody,
It's
but
parody.
School Days is a parody technically.
But it's bad.
But we don't talk about School Days on this. This is a good Christian stream.
There's like
no.
Naruto-san,
Show.
Outbreak Company, Haruhi Suzumiya.
I think
Oh, I still
okay.
need to watch that.
What was it? I remember you and another of our friends were talking about one of the parody animes, and you had a very big disagreement where you were saying it was a parody done right, and he was saying it's a parody where they make fun of tropes and then still do it right. And I think that's where I personally draw the line: is if you're gonna parody something, parody it in full. don't regress into doing the things you're parodying, you know?
Elaborate.
Like, if you're gonna make fun of the fact that, you know, in anime, like, guys will fall on girls and then, like, grope them, then don't have your main character fall on a girl and grope them. Like, what was it?
It depends on how it's executed.
Yeah,
It could
wait,
be
okay,
done in a way in which, like, the action itself enforces the parody.
Yeah, that's true. Because I
So-
was thinking more of in Angel Beats. There's that scene where he's trying to help.
The Angel Beats.
Yeah, where he's trying to help Yui and then he falls and she suplexes him. That's funny. That's a good parody. If it ended up being like, oh, I don't want you to do that, and then he falls and like starts groping her, then it's like, yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna bring up the one that happened in SAO where Asuna comes out of the portal and flies like Kirito, and like Kirito just falls back because she flew out of the portal, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What's this?"
Yeah.
So in which case, that's an okay thing because that's funny.
So I guess it's a different line for everyone because yeah, you're right. If it's funny to you, then you'll think it's okay. But if it's not funny to you, then yeah, there you go. I don't know. How do you? I mean, you brought up the question, JFan. How do you feel about it?
Oh God, you're cutting
Oh
out.
God, he's a robot.
Diverge from what I brought up.
Oh, okay. Oh, did it? Well, what were you trying to say then? Sorry, did I miss the point?
Well, I first brought up One Punch Man
Yeah.
to see, because we were talking about the no-no zone of anime,
Yeah.
and most parodies fall into that, but I was like saying One Punch Man is
Oh.
like not always.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
That,
how did we get there? How did we get here?
I don't know. I think I that was probably my bad. I probably strayed it. But One Punch.
No, we'll watch.
Yeah, we'll watch it back. We'll watch the podcast. It probably was me though. I'm just gonna say, but I was kind of talking about that. I think where One Punch Man does it right because it's also just a fighting shonen. Like it's funny, it's relatable. Saitama's a likable character. Like he's not one of those like I'm the best and I'm cocky about it. He's like I'm the best and I'm doing it for fun. And it's genuinely enjoyable to watch his adventures. For me, I read the manga, so I remember there's this one chapter where, like, okay, let me back up a little. For me, One Punch Man's enjoyable because it's actually kind of like a statement about how like there's this whole heroes association, but the only real hero in the entire group is Saitama, because he's the only one who's doing it for the sake of being a hero, like for helping others. Everyone else is doing it for the fame or for the money or something else. And for me, I think that's why One Punch Man can be enjoyable on its own because it's a parody that's also a self-sustaining story, you know?
Although I think that should be what most shows are, or even the parodies of what they are. They're all enjoyable as it is. Like Konosuba, take Konosuba for example. It's like the story of Konosuba is like a sitcom, and it's funny because of the situations together created through it, and it's just like they're all enjoyable because of like you feel like these four idiots were made to be with each other.
Yeah, but I think what JFan was trying to say is like for some of the parodies, there are things you will not understand unless you know the tropes they're coming from.
Unless you understand the tropes and the
Yeah.
character traits.
Yeah.
Which draws back to not the starter anime, but the anime to avoid.
Yeah. So we just came full circle. Now we're just back at where we started. Oh God. I think we ruined it again, JFan. Why don't you just say what
No.
you have to say about the One
No,
Punch
I
Man
drew
thing?
I drew it full circle to connect back to the OG point.
Okay. All right. Well, JFan, do you have anything to say about the point since you brought it up?
I just like last comments on Konosuba.
Yeah.
Konosuba like is an isekai parody.
Yeah, we don't
There aren't
have enough of
that
those.
Many isekai like anime that have come out compared to like the sheer volume of like novels there are.
Yeah.
I think that's all I'm
Smartphone.
at. You have like
Oh God.
Isekai with a
120
smartphone.
things I'm reading, and at least 70 of them are isekai. At least. Right?
Yeah. Like a lot of them are isekai. I think I watched a video on that recently.
I was watching Konosuba with my roommate, right? And he hasn't seen much of the isekai. All he's seen is ReZero, which is kind
Another
of a parody
isekai.
of isekai in
It's
itself.
another
Yeah.
isekai.
But like, it's the only isekai he's seen, but he still got a lot of enjoyment out of it, even though he didn't really get what was being parodied.
Okay.
And I think that's the sitcom nature of Konosuba, where it's like these four idiots were made for each other. Like it feels like you feel like these four idiots were made for each other, and since it's made in such a way where you feel like you're the fifth person going along with them, with the, like your quote unquote friend group,
Yeah.
and seeing what stupid things they're all doing.
But see, with that, now we're getting back into that whole territory of like, do you view anime as a self-insert, like I'm in the story, or do you view it for like watching the main character and being like, oh, I want to be like that guy? Now we're getting back into that territory.
But that
So-
depends again. We've drawn on this, but I think that depends on the viewer, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the thing. And Konosuba could be seen that way, or it could be seen as like just these four as a group of individuals, and you're watching a story being told from like a different perspective, of like an outsider's perspective. You're not like a part of the group,
Yeah.
and that just determines on what you're in the mood for watching and what you want to see that day, or like see in a show.
Yeah. So I guess in the end, our conclusion on the whole like no-no zone of anime is just like, our sorry, our conclusion on the no-no zone of anime is basically just like whatever you're comfortable watching, basically.
No parodies, unless they're like parodies done well are fine.
Yeah, because I was gonna say because
because-
we've come to the conclusion that like parodies with their own self-sustained stories are fine.
Those
but
are fine. But
yeah.
like Madoka, I did not understand Madoka at all.
Oh really? I didn't
I
like
did
Madoka.
not.
I just didn't like Madoka.
It was so cool. I just didn't get it. That's why I stopped watching, because I didn't understand it.
Okay.
Because it's like it was a deconstruction of Mahou Shoujo
Yeah.
like anime and stuff, and I just didn't get it.
That's fine. Oh, speaking of which, so earlier when you said isekai, I thought you said sentai. What happened to sentai anime? I missed
Sentai
those.
Filmworks.
Dude, sentais were great. Those were so fun. You know, like I can't think of any now. Shit. I was gonna say Power Rangers, but that's not an anime. God damn it.
Get wrecked, nerd.
Get wrecked. All right. Anyways, all right. There's that done. I like sentais though. What? They were fun. Don't tell me you didn't like Power Rangers when you were a kid. Come on.
I watched Pokemon and Edna and Eddie.
TV when I was a kid.
Really? Oh god. Now I feel bad. Great. All right.
I'm
Moving
sorry,
on.
dude.
Now I feel like an asshole. Now I feel like an asshole. Moving on. Moving on. All right.
Oh, I like how we hit all of J-Fan's topics. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's good
No, like
then.
everything he wrote, we hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I steered us in that direction. My master plan.
It was all part
Sure,
of
fine.
JFan's like, dude. We've established this. JFan's just actually an evil mastermind, and he's just like
Dark Half.
He's-
Shut up, Dark Half.
he's just pulling all of our strings, dude. Like he made me think that I'm the host. He's actually hosting this. You know, I'm sitting here podcasting with you two. He's playing 7-dimensional checkers over there,
Yeah, I'm playing with him.
and there you go. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Oh god. But so like, okay. So you don't like the idea of a starter anime, right? So then what would?
Well, because I don't like the way it's phrased.
Yeah,
Because
I
that-
guess.
The way it implies that these are things you should watch in the beginning, and it's like you can't start anywhere you want, and it's just like, oh, here's this, and it's like it's a good thing to watch
It
first.
also
Well, okay.
Makes, it also
No.
makes anime feel super exclusive, right? Like
That's
Yes.
true. Yeah, you know
like
what?
the
Yeah, that's
cool
fair.
kids, and you gotta watch this before you can join the cool kids club.
That's true. Well, I was just gonna say though, like like we were saying earlier, everyone has different tastes. So what are some like, I guess for you guys, like what are some recommendations if like a friend just comes up to you generally and says like I want to start watching anime? What would you guys say?
Konosuba.
Really, like straight out Konosuba.
It's so good. I love the show too much.
Okay.
I think
See,
another good
the
one in
problem I have with that is if you start off too high, then their expectations are like. Then the next thing they'll watch will be more disappointing, right? Which is why I don't personally tell people to watch FMAB at the beginning. They can. I'd say probably not, because it would spoil like the rest of it, because nothing's ever going to be as good.
No, just don't have them commit seppuku, and just don't tell them they'll ever watch Legends of Galactic Heroes,
Oh god.
because I call that the suicide anime, the anime
Really?
suicide. You watch,
Oh, God.
yeah, you watch Legends of the Galactic Heroes. Everything else is just bad for comparison.
Oh.
You just have to say you'll watch it.
See-
You just don't actually watch it.
See, JFan, I find that interesting because I've never thought of it that way. I always thought of it like show them the best from the beginning so that they'll be hooked, and then they'll try like from there they'll try finding things that they like. Because I always tell
think
people like,
Not safe.
I think
Find,
it's the difference.
8 to 9 out of 10.
okay, see, like my like. Whenever people ask me for anime recommendations, I always give them like, if you want X, watch this. If you want Y, watch this type things, right? Like I say, if you want a cute romance, watch like Chunibyo. Yeah, so I give them like genre type things because much
I think
like
that's the better way.
yeah, because much like TV, you can't just say like, okay, if a person came up to me today and said like, I want to start watching TV, what do I watch? I'm like, fuck if I know. I don't, dude. TV's a big genre, like it's a big spectrum. Yeah.
The news.
The news. Oh god.
You were the worst friend.
Hey, I want an interesting TV show. What should I watch? The news. All right.
Especially if you're a voting
I mean-
age, just saying.
I mean, you're JFan, you're not wrong, but goddamn, you are.
You suck.
So
Anyway.
like, yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think giving people starter animes is wrong. You're right. I think what people should be doing is like asking if you want to be a good friend, ask them like what genre are you into, and then try giving them like suggestions based off that. Not like, you know, don't be one of those assholes that's like, you have to watch Naruto and Death Note and Bleach and like just don't be one of those assholes.
I think, okay. I think the concept of a starter anime is fine. I just don't like it as
A term.
You know, yes.
Yeah,
And it's
I
like the
know, I
way
know, I
you
get you.
And the way you use the term, or at least how it's commonly used, is something that really frustrates me every time.
Yeah,
It's just
no,
like-
because you guys are both right. Like, anime itself, like, I kind of hate the fan base sometimes. Oh god, that's a terrible statement to make in a podcast. But like, at times when, you know, everyone's just like, you hate it or love it, and like, people who are like, oh, if you don't like anime, you suck. And like, oh, but if you're uber weeb, you also suck. It's like, okay, well, don't make yourself so exclusive. Like, I want anime to be just like TV or like YouTube to anyone else, where, you know, anyone can watch it and anyone can start. I don't want it to be some exclusive thing where, like you said, the cool kids club. You have to watch FMA to be in the cool kids club. No, like, stop making it
I think
so.
that's-
Yeah,
I think the exclusiveness comes from the shows themselves being good. Like FMAB is like super good, and
Yeah.
people who watch it know how good it is, and even people who haven't watched it like me, like I haven't watched it, like I know how good it is. Like I've
Yeah.
heard it's super good, and it's just like the exclusiveness comes from knowing how good a series is and the potential shows have. So it's like like again, I really can't say much more about how it is, or at least I'm not finding the words right now. But it's like, because people haven't watched, they don't realize how exclusive it is
yeah,
because they haven't watched anything, and it seems more exclusive because they haven't watched anything. But it's just the fan base being more of like a internal thing.
yeah. I think the perfect example of that is I don't think either of you, I think JFan, you've watched a bit of it, is JoJo, right? Like everyone knows the jokes behind the JoJo fan base, and honestly, I fucking hate the fan base sometimes where it's just like, you haven't watched JoJo? Is that a JoJo? Oh my god, is that a motherfucking JoJo reference? And by the way, they have a few of those in Persona 5. But it's just like, okay, you say that you want more people to watch your show, but then you make it so exclusive and you chastise people, like you openly insult them for not watching it. It's not going to make people want to watch it, you know?
Well, I think that's like the hate and stuff is mostly from the outside.
Yeah, that's true.
Like outside looking in, like or at least there's hate from both sides. Like if you haven't done something, like if you haven't watched it, then the hardcore fans will chastise you if you want to talk to them about it. But at the same time, if you've watched it and are super into it, then people outside looking in will just call you like a weeb and stuff.
Yeah, and I think there's one of the problems with animes. There's this huge stigma about it where it's like child cartoons, you know, weebs and all that stuff. But
I think it's just the extreme.
fan base that.
of what?
You can keep going.
Oh, like I think it's just like the extremes have been more prevalent.
Yeah.
And that's where all the negative terms come from.
Well, it's like that in everything though. The minority is always usually the most vocal, right? So like maybe I want to say maybe like 5-10% of the anime community is actually like the diehard, like weebs want to move to Japan, paint their hair or like dye their hair, whatever. But they're the ones that are usually the loudest about it, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so I was talking about the fan base, and I know Foss doesn't use Reddit, but Matt, have you gone on r/anime?
I try to avoid that like the plague, actually.
I feel like that's a horrible place to be in.
Much like
I don't go on Reddit. I know how Reddit works, and when I think of r/anime, I'm thinking, stay the hell away.
Let me just pull it up real quick and see what it's like. All right.
No, you're gonna instantly
All right.
regret.
Like, I used to be like on r/anime when I was like watching anime like seasonally.
Yeah.
And I thought it was actually a fun community because you'd like watch a show and then you like read discussion and you'd read people's thoughts, their analysis. Some people would like clip funnies like memes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it wasn't that bad. So like sometimes when I like go rewatch a show, I have r/anime and have all the discussions for the episodes, and just like I'll watch an episode, see what like the other people like think about it and what like conclusions or analysis they can draw from it.
Mhm.
Because Reddit generally does a good job of filtering trash. Not always. But
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say not
actually
always.
that bad.
Well,
Not always. There's a lot of trash.
for me, it's just like
Freaking
there's a lot of trash to
bathroom
filter through.
breaks are a toxic thing in League of Legends and are being abused and
Oh,
should
God.
not exist. Like what the fuck?
Okay, see, I was gonna say like our anime, it's a general sub, right? It's just the sub for anime in general. And a lot of times I feel like you only go there if you're talking about the bigger animes, like if you're talking about small time things, or like even for me like obscure games that I play, you can't go on there because a lot of times people don't actually know what those are, and so it feels kind of weird. So I treat our anime much like I treat our League of Legends. You go on it for memes and shit posts, but if you want to actually get into like talks, you look for the sub for your specific anime, like for Reddit at least. That's what I usually do.
That's how you have to
Have
get
you
privileges.
have either of you watched D Grayman?
No,
Ooh, that sounds familiar.
I've heard. I think you told me about it actually.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah. So D Grayman had like a small second season of 12 episodes that went super under the radar, and most of the discussions are actually made. I'm pretty sure collected by a bot,
Mm-hmm.
but D Grayman was so under the radar it wasn't collected by a bot. But when I looked it up, because when I was watching it and I wanted to see like the reactions, like people on our anime just like made their own thing, and it wasn't like it's not something you'll see on like hot or stuff like that or nowhere near like top. But if you looked for it, it was still there.
Okay.
So
maybe
it's like
yeah.
maybe
Okay. You're right.
anime gets a bad rep because of weebs, but my experience with r/anime has been not bad.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's still
Well,
it's
okay.
weak,
Wait.
dude.
One question before we finish off this topic though. When did you start using our anime?
Can you repeat that? You cut off.
Oh, sorry.
When did you start using r/anime?
Yeah. When did you start using our anime?
When I started like sophomore year of high school.
Okay. See that's
Senior year of high school.
that's
So
probably
when I
why.
started watching anime.
When I started using our anime, I was in like middle school, and this was back in the dark days of Reddit, as I like to call them.
You were in middle school. That's already dark days.
Yeah, middle school itself was a dark days, but like, let me just ask you this, J-Fan. Do you understand the phrase "When does the narwhal bacon"?
The phrase
Oh, sorry. Do you recognize the phrase "When does the narwhal bacon"?
"When does the narwhal?"
God, fuck! I saw myself cut out too. Do you recognize the phrase "When does the narwhal bacon"?
Bacon?
Yeah, no. Then you do not know the dark days. This was back when like Reddit was very niche, and like you didn't want people to know you were a Redditor. Like,
It's still a thing.
yeah, I guess that's true. But like back then, it was
Fun
like,
fact, my Reddit account exists, so I could like stuff on our anime.
all right, well that's fine. So I'm just gonna say I'm a kind of old timer when it comes to Reddit because I've had one for like 7 years now, I think. But it's like back when I used our anime, it was a shit show. But I can believe that it's changed. I will believe that. Kind
I
of.
can't tell you that it's good now.
Okay.
I can tell you it was good like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. There you go. I was gonna say on the topic
'Cause
of
I don't watch as much anime like the day it's released anymore.
Yeah, me neither. I was gonna say I tried to say that at the beginning, where it's like nowadays I'm not too huge on like following anime as they come out. It's like I'll watch it every now and then. Yeah, it's like more like after a series has come out, I'll read the reviews. If I'm interested, I'll binge it. Or like I said, I'm more into like manga and games nowadays. Like I was gonna say with the whole under the radar thing, God damn it. Okay, we can finally talk about this because there's finally been a tangent. Danganronpa. All right, I have loved the series my entire life, and it's been so under the ground. Like it was so unknown that the entire game was condensed into 12 episode anime where they just force fed you the entire story because they wanted to get it done, right? And now that Danganronpa like 3 anime came out and the V3 game actually got like promoted in America, I'm so happy to see like a game that I like finally come to see the day of light. But like at the same time,
3 got an anime?
huh?
3 got an anime?
Oh no, not V3, just 3 itself. But
Wait, what?
oh, there was a separate anime for 3. It was a separate thing.
Danganronpa 2 and 3 movie anime.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway.
But oh god, 1 second.
Can I PM'd you something?
Yeah.
Because I want to keep the person's privacy.
Yes, I knew her. Yes. Yes. Why?
We cosplay characters from DR2 every Halloween.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. I was gonna say that like. Okay, continue. Yeah.
So I was just saying, like, it was kind of under the radar, but not that under the radar.
It was like
So that
people knew about it, but it wasn't like huge. You know, like there wasn't huge like a huge fan base for it. Now I'm happy to see that it's come like it. You know, people are aware of it now, but at the same time, it's kind of like it, not killing the community so much, but like I kind of liked it better when the people who knew about it really knew about it. Now that it's kind of like a trend and like a fad, people are like, oh, have you heard of that thing, Danganronpa? And it's like, okay, yeah, and everyone's just like, oh, I'm gonna cosplay Junko. It's like, okay, have you? Yeah, it's the trend effect.
I just think it's like I think that's more due to technology and how we've of like how technology has evolved over the years. When I don't know when Danganronpa 1 came out, and
When did it come out?
So
I mean, I'll look it up. Yeah.
yeah, so I would assume it's a pretty decently old game.
Yeah, it's pretty old. The first one is at least.
Yeah, I would imagine the first one is pretty damn old.
I'll look up. You guys keep talking.
And so from there, I just don't think that the same promotion tactics were present as in the past than they were now.
Yeah. Oh, 2010 by the way. 2010.
Although
2010,
I
that's still a
understand
lot.
what, Matt is talking about the like niche communities, because like slightly non-anime related tangent, like the existence of Rick and Morty before this season was like super like pretty niche, like not that many people were talking about it, and now it's like Rick and Morty memes everywhere. And, like a lot of people say it kind of like destroyed the community.
And that's actually
a bunch of assholes yelling for Szechuan.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I didn't want to use Rick and Morty, but you did it, so I'm going to go off of it now. But exactly, like making your like community popular can sometimes end up killing the community, in that exact way, where it's like people that don't even know what they're talking about pretend like they do, and now that's your representation of the fan base,
But that's like the small minority.
It's the small minority, but they're the most vocal and probably the most well known. Like now, everyone knows that story of the idiot that ran into the McDonald's shouting "Wubba Lubba Dub Dub," and
It was so funny. I love that video, by the way. It was so funny.
I can just only imagine the amount of people that like now they know about Danganronpa stuff. They're just gonna run around going like "ooh poo poo" or like yelling despair or shit like that. And I don't know if that's something I want to see out of a series I really love.
Oh no, okay. People are crazy. We're not that stupid.
Yeah. See, we're not that stupid. I can't speak for other people.
Actually, I don't know because I just remember I said that and I immediately remembered that video and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't think a lot of the big stories, the really bad stories, are gonna come to light because of the context of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how Rick and Morty have the Sichuan sauce meme. and how all the fans want to go try it. But that's not really a thing I see happening with Danganronpa because of the fact that I see that the despair factor is so niche. The little laugh that Monokuma does is so niche. It's just hard to find a place to do that in the right scenario.
That's fair.
And even if that word scenario were to come up at all, it's most likely in a place where it's not like too uncommon to not see it.
Yeah.
Like
Well, for me,
if I were to see it, it'd probably be at AX or something.
probably. My fear is just that, like, I think Danganronpa's story is good enough where it should stand up for itself, but I'm just afraid the community is going to get to a point where, like, no amount of good story is going to be able to redeem the community, you know? Like, I don't want it to get to that point. Because it's something I really like and that, like, I hold dear to my heart. So.
Yeah, but I don't really see it being a problem.
Yeah, hopefully
that
not.
too big of a problem, and it's not like a TV show where it's like easily accessible to a lot of
Yeah,
people.
that's true.
It's like an old video game that people have to go out of their way to go and buy and play
Yeah.
and get through. So I can see the community getting bad, but it shouldn't change that much because of the new popular V3
Yeah.
that came out. So
Yeah.
I just think that, like, you say you have a fear for it, I don't think you should be that worried. And like I think a good example of this is Melee.
Okay, yeah. That's, you
Like,
know
it's
what?
like it's
That's a really good example. Holy shit. Alright, yeah.
yeah, like Melee's a 16-year-old game, and people are
Yeah.
still getting into the game now, and the community is still super crazy good.
Yeah.
And so
alright.
you saw Melee get transformed like this. I'm pretty sure Danganronpa is not going to have that big of an issue.
You know what? Yeah, fair enough. This could also be good for it too. You know, the community growing means it has it's more likely that, you know, we're going to get our adaptations faster. We're going to get the more
Yes,
games and
yeah,
stuff.
that's
So
like that's
Yeah.
another way to look at it.
that's good. Yeah,
Gonna
you know,
say, it's more likely for you to get your fan art.
oh,
Everything.
hell yeah, dude. I'm so looking forward to AX this year because there's going to be so much good Danganronpa art. Oh,
Shout out to AX.
shout out to AX. Like shout out to any artists who draw stuff for AX. I love you guys because I do not have any artistic talent. I buy your art because it's awesome. I'm just looking, Foss. I'm looking at your Maki and Kaito hug thing, and I'm just imagining how many of those we're gonna see at AX this year. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, dude.
But I kind of wanted to talk about, so like, I feel like obscure things is more prevalent in like Japanese gaming than with anime. I feel like because
Yes, I 100% attest to that.
yeah, but I was gonna say, like, J-Fan, you were talking about like a lot of the novels you read are really obscure. Like, how do you feel about the whole like obscure things and like bringing like in the community we call them obscure games? Do you have like a name for them or anything?
Oh wait, I think I have. There's a site I saw recently. It's a Japanese site where people can just publish light novel stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know what it's called, but I think JFN would know what it is. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you typed it out.
Oh,
I'm
so
pretty sure you
yeah.
said it.
He just typed it
Oh,
in
I
the
think
chat.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that. It's like that's where people can go publish all their light novels and stuff, and that's where even Konosuba started.
Okay.
And so like, I think that's where all the obscure stuff can come from.
Okay. Because for me, it's like I played a lot of obscure games, like Japanese obscure games that like nobody knew about, and I can't even remember the name of some of them because they were that obscure. But like, and I just remember I literally had no one to talk about with them because like no one knew what the hell like Phoenix Wright was back when I played them and stuff. So.
Oh man, that's a.
I played Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, like you
Like,
did.
Phoenix Wright was my childhood.
Exactly!
I'd go to my cousin's house, would whip out a DS, would go in a circle, would sit in a circle, and would play Phoenix Wright together.
Dude, I had a little friend group. Like, I found 2 friends that played it with me. We would sit down and play Trials together for the first time, and we would like sit down and like problem solve them together. It was awesome. I loved it. But like, I guess I was just trying to ask.
Novels?
Yeah.
The novel community itself is pretty small. From
Okay.
what I've seen, there's not like as much talking like r/light novels, like how to.
No, it's pretty exclusive, dude.
Yeah.
Subreddit.
It's exclusive, man.
When I first was reading Konosuba, I was like, this shit is so funny. I'm so sad. Probably there won't be an anime for it. I can't talk to anybody about it.
Oh, how wrong
Joke's
you
on
were,
you.
my friend.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on me. That's I also said that about Isekai Smartphone, Gakusen Toshi Asterisk, Like, a lot of them are getting bigger now.
Yeah.
But that's the
Block of
but that's the
Safety was
problem.
really big, but
But there's a problem with that. We have too many isekais now.
I mean,
smartphone.
I wouldn't worry about that though,
Smartphone!
because once it's
Or-
overplayed, yeah. No, go
light
ahead.
novel adaptations, for like probability wise, just means more isekai. Like, there's no way to get around that.
Yeah.
No, because they have a limit on isekais now. Like
Really?
male pro tag and stuff like that. There's actually Giguk did a video. Shout out to Giguk. He did a video on like isekai and why it's become so popular, and the site did a ban on like, or at least a limit on how many isekais you can write or something about that.
Oh,
like
okay.
a male pro tag and blah 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 and transport blah blah blah.
But
I
there's
w-
also like different like genres of isekai, right? There's like the one where it's like a game world, and then it's a visual novel world, and then it's just like there's so many variations on it that people put under like slightly different categories.
Yeah,
That's
but
why,
I think there's
EJ
still
and I
a
make
limit.
Truck joke.
Like the what?
Truck-kun
Oh,
is
Oh,
the start
God.
of all fucking isekai because every character, bar like
hit by
three,
gets hit by a truck.
get run over by a truck.
Except Restaurant to Another World.
Oh god. I was just gonna say I
Which, by
won't.
the way, was a fairly interesting show.
Oh god. I wouldn't worry too much about it because once something gets milked like this, you're right. The like the need for it and the want for it goes down severely, and then they'll just stop making them because it won't be popular anymore because it's overdone.
Are you kidding me? We're already scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I know, so that's what I'm saying.
Smartphone.
Eventually it'll get to the point where it's just like people won't want it anymore, and so they won't make any more.
Have any of you actually watched Smartphone though?
No. The name is too stupid for me to watch.
I read the first volume, and him having a smartphone doesn't really make that big of a difference because
Then it
does
shouldn't
he
be the.
wonders, I think, or it doesn't have a job.
Then it shouldn't
And then
be
his
the.
smartphone just becomes like PDA for superpowers, and he just becomes Gary Stu in other aspects.
Okay, then that's stupid. That's a really stupid concept. TBH.
Oh, the other thing I forgot to talk about when we were talking about Gary Stews.
Yeah.
There's different kinds of Gary Stews. There's like the combat Gary Stews, and there's the development Gary Stews, which are more seen in isekai, where they're in their like old world and they bring like modern technology into it,
Sora.
and that's like their
Yep.
cheat.
Sora.
So, what's you guys' opinion on that?
I mean, I don't mind. Like, I
Sora's
don't, I
like
don't-
the biggest one in anime.
yeah, that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
I don't really. Oh shit! Sorry. Anyway, it's. I don't really have too big of a problem with that. It's just like, you know, the Gary Stews can be. Actually, no, yeah, Gary Stews are fine. I just care about how they do it and motivations and stuff, and like SAO. Like SAO is a good example. There's like season 2, most people didn't like it because just like where did SAO go? And it's just like I didn't mind it as much because I liked where it was going with it and what it wanted to accomplish. And I think from there it kind of did its good job, despite being, you know, Kirito just being God. But like the way he had to go to achieve that was something I really enjoyed.
See, for me, it's like the complete opposite. Is I can't stand Gary Stu or Mary Stu characters at all because for me, it's all about the journey of how they got there, and it doesn't matter if I know that they have all the superpowers they need. Like that's why I really stopped liking Naruto in the end. Was like he could just do anything. He could do everything and anything.
I mean, that's
Give me
fine,
some
but like,
Matt.
Hmm?
What's your opinion on people who are super strong because they already finished the journey? It's like they did all the hero stuff and now it's where it starts. What's your opinion on those? Or have you not seen too many?
The only example
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I can't think of any, but that idea is fine for me as long as like they work to get there. I guess my problem with Gary Stu's is generally their attitudes are like I'm the best, you know, and I really don't like that personally.
But sometimes they are.
Yeah, I know, but even
That's
if you
why
like,
they're the Gary Stu
I know,
character.
and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you're the best, but for me, humility is a very big part of a character, and like being able to be humble even when you don't have to be is a trait that
Would
I
you
find.
like Sora and Shiro as much if they were more humble?
Yeah, right. Oh my god, I would.
They
I
didn't
would not.
challenge God to a chess match.
You know what? That's true. Okay. I'm trying to.
I
I'm
love.
trying to
I think.
think
I
though.
think this.
Like,
I think this. I think this podcast should be named "Ruining Gary Stu's first chef for next
Well, no,
day.
because I still don't like Gary Stews, but the reason I like Sora is because of and it's hard to explain, but like it's because of how they're put in. Like they are the Gary Stews, or they are the Gary Stew and Mary Sue of the world, right? But they are still a part of humanity because they are the lowest and like the weakest of all the races, and they're trying to climb up past all the other races, right? And we talked about this at the event too. I made I made that joke on purpose just for you.
No. I hope you know it took me everything to not say anything else.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. But like, we talked about this last night. The reason I find them likable is because of that speech that Sora gives, where he's talking about how like we are the weakest and we are
the concept of humanity.
the concept of humanity, and that is an idea I love in like they touch a lot on it in anime because I feel like anime is not afraid to like treat their audience maturely, you know? Like whereas modern TV shows constantly like try to play things down for kids. Anime is not like afraid of showing death and stuff and talking about like deep concepts, which is why I like things like Parasite and I like things that make you think. And I just like this whole concept of like humanity having nothing to lose, so we have so much room to develop, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's like it's a cool concept, and I think there's just multiple different ways to attack different genres and styles of like the same thing, and it's just like where you're gonna go and how you're just gonna act. So it's just like it's all really a preference of what things you don't and don't like, you do and don't like. Like I don't mind the Gary Stu characters just because of like I'll know their win. I think a good example is like it's not he's not a Gary Stu per se, but he's gonna win. It's like Natsu from Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna win, but I care about how. And yes, half the time it's just like about the power of friendship, and I win.
I'm taking my magic power from tomorrow because I ran out of it for today.
I mean, I guess so.
See, okay, for me, a Gary Stu though is a character that's like just someone that like they're super strong, they're also super smart. They have every. Did any of you here read what's it called? Assassination Classroom.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Oh God, what was his name?
I
Oh
didn't
God.
read it, I watched it.
Oh, okay, but the red-haired guy. What was his name? What was his name? The red-haired guy.
The asshole guy. I don't know.
Yeah, the asshole guy.
Call him the asshole guy.
Yeah. See, like, he was almost a Gary Stu character because he's a super cool assassin guy. He gets straight A's every time, but then he fell. Like he did fail, so he was no longer a Gary Stu character. For me, a Gary Stu character is like the main guy in all shoujos. Shoujos? Do you guys watch shoujos?
Some.
Okay.
Some?
The main guys in shoujos are always these like prince characters who sweep the girl off their feet. They're usually literally princes, by the way, and things like like they're super smart. They cook for her. They can like sweep her off her feet. They can beat up the other guy, and it's like, okay, no, because that's not fun to watch that happen. It's like, why watch a show if you just know Superman's gonna swoop in and save the day every time? You know?
Because you like that kind of comedy, and like you just don't mind the fact that it's just being
And
overdone.
I think
it's like a good example.
It depends on how often it happens as well. Like, if there's like one danger and like they come and they save them and like that's all nice, and the rest of the time it's just like their interactions, and if that interaction is good enough, then like it's fine.
I think what Foss said was actually kind of touches on it. For me, it's if it's done in a comedic way, it's fine. Like if you're doing a Gary Stu character for the sake of being a Gary Stu character and it's funny, then I'm fine with it. But if you're gonna do a Gary Stu character trying to make it seem like this is the everyday man is like super, like Superman, that's when I kind of draw the line, for me at least.
Oh yeah, that's kind of why I like to. I talked about this with you guys yesterday. Mahoko Koko no Retose.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
that
main
one.
character, you see him age 10, 5 minutes in, nuke an army, and then you later on see him like solve mysteries that were like never done. Like he is a Gary Stu, but he is so far above. You can like expect it of him because it's like how exaggeratedly powerful he is.
Yeah, and I think that's where it is. Where like if you make a Gary Stu character seem larger than life, like Saitama. Like Saitama is my favorite example because I love Saitama, but like with Saitama, he's so, like you were saying earlier, like out there that no one can realistically be him, right? So it's funny to watch things like that happen because you know it's not trying to be portrayed as the everyday man. But if you're trying to portray the Gary Stu as like every high school student ever, that's just not realistic because not every high school student ever is going to be good at everything ever, you know?
What are you talking about? The qualifications of an anime. You got to be in high school, and you got to be a high school student.
Yeah, you're right, dude. Every high school student can just get straight A's without ever doing anything, and he's also like the star of the basketball team, and he also cooks really good and sweeps all the women off his feet.
But
And has
he's
a harem.
also like super lonely and like he just like reads in his back left corner by the window.
Oh yeah, and he's never able to
And,
tell that like 30 women want him at the same time.
Until he runs into the really hot transfer student.
There you go, exactly, exactly.
It's just like every high school kid. Did that not happen to you?
Yeah,
guys
wait,
in high
did that not happen to you guys in high school? Really? Wow, weird. Oh god. I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. Okay, because let's be honest, the demographic for anime usually is like high school or middle school type students, right? So you're right. That's kind of what they're trying to like portray. So how do you think that? Do you think that has any influence on kids or anything?
That'd be hilarious, though.
Yeah, just everyone thinking like,
The point of it is to have influence on kids because I read somewhere that in Japan like suicide rate is like really or comparatively high in their high school aged people,
yeah,
and a lot of these exist, the self-insertion people, so that those like high school like suicidal anime or kids will like watch, like otakus will like watch and be like, hey, I can be great too.
yeah.
It's like a real.
That's why I feel like sometimes self-inserts can be a little dangerous, though. Because, like I was saying earlier, there's a few times where anime's gotten, like, too real for me. And it's like, man, if I wanted to feel like this, I'd just go outside and walk around for a bit, right? So, I feel like that's why, me, personally, I like the self-inserts better. Because when they give you something to strive for, and it shows you that, like, look, this character's kind of like me, and they got out of it, they did the things, that's good. And that's why I also said I also am fine with the idealized character, because it gives those people something to strive for, too. You know?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't know. I mean, we kind of already touched on it, but J-Fan, for you personally, how do you feel about the? I guess for both of you personally, how do you guys feel about the whole like self-insert thing in anime, as like using it as an out or something?
That's fine. Like, I don't really see a problem with that as a whole. I really like it, and it's just a different genre that's expanding under this beautiful umbrella that we call anime.
Yeah.
It's just more of a
I don't hate that it exists. Alright, sorry.
yes. Actually, no. I mean, I didn't have much more to say, but that's about it. Yeah, it's like I agree. I like that. It's like it's more to anime.
I can accept that it exists. I generally won't enjoy the shows that have them because what I look for, as I said at the very beginning, was like heavy character development and watching the main character grow, and also watching like the main character's quirks. Right? In Konosuba, like the main character like has like very definitive character traits, and that's what makes him like an enjoyable and like well done character, at least in fantasy. As does like in ReZero, the main character has like very specific character traits, and that's what like I personally enjoy watching. Like people with set set traits and watching them grow throughout a story.
Okay. So I guess it's so I guess the answer is the same as we kind of came to earlier. It's just like based on the person. So yeah.
That at the end of the day, that's pretty much what it is. Though.
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
you really can't say like this person will enjoy this because of the different tastes everyone has. So it's just like that's why it's so nice to have all these different styles and different places to do things. Is that you can then explore what type of genre you really enjoy to watch.
And that's why I really like not just anime, but like entertainment as a medium, like as a whole. Not just, and I'm not going to say just anime, like because there's something for everyone, you know, like. Manga, if you don't like manga, you can read comic books, you can just read normal books. If you don't like anime, you can watch regular TV shows. You don't like JRPG games, you can just play regular games. Like, entertainment as a whole is really interesting. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying, like I really enjoy, because there are some people who say like entertainment's useless. I don't think so. I think it's great.
I think it's just a luxury we have, but we're getting off topic here. That's not.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not here for entertainment.
We're here for
anime.
Weeb. We're here for the Weeb talks. You're right. We need to come up with a better name for this, by the way. But
No, we're sticking with Weeb talks.
are we
It's
talking?
hilarious.
Are we sticking with Weeb talks? Okay. Well,
I want to stick with it. It's hilarious.
all right. I came up with that last night at like midnight for no reason. What the hell? All right.
Because like Weeb has like a very specific connotation.
That's why it's funny.
And,
But okay, I agree
why
with.
it's funny.
See, I agree with JFan though, because Weeb has a very
derogatory as well.
yeah. It has a connotation to it, and we're actually kind of doing the opposite of a Weeb talk, because we're actually more like getting in depth with the anime and stuff, and like getting more analytical
Not
with
really.
it.
It's like it's just the preferences and blah blah blah. I don't know if
Yeah,
we've
but
done it yet, and that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is we're not just sitting here fanboying out about anime though. We're kind of talking about like why we like it, what we like, and all that stuff. So, I mean, we can talk about that. That's probably not something
And
we
I
should
think
discuss
most
actually on the
important
podcast.
distinction is we're talking about why we don't like it.
Yeah, that's true. Like we spent a whole
I think that's like the biggest distinction.
we spent like a whole 20 minutes talking about why we don't like why there are no animes. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
boy.
part of it.
yeah.
But oh yeah. By the way, this just came up to me. If you like shows that'll make you think, watch Classic Elite. It's so good.
I think that's been
One
recommended
of
to
my-
me.
It's one of my favorite shows of the year so far.
Okay.
JFan will attest to this. He when it came out, me and him talked about it.
Okay. Have
It's one of the only things that recently I've like watched when it came out.
okay. Well,
Yeah, and like that, and he doesn't do that normally. And
Yep.
that's
So
kinda-
I will give that a look see. I was just gonna ask, have either of you actually watched Parasite?
No,
JFan?
I'm a very niche person in
My
terms of the
friend
genre.
told me to, and then I just didn't.
It's a horror, it's a gore, but and it's a like survival thing, but it explores that idea of like humanity. So
Oh,
You read a lot of like manga, right? Cause
yeah,
it came out, I think, the season after Tokyo Ghoul,
yeah,
and my friend describes it as Tokyo Ghoul's manga is better, but the anime is garbage.
Mhm.
And Parasite is the opposite, where the anime is really good, but the manga is not very.
I heard the same. I never read the
What's
manga.
your opinion?
I actually didn't read. I didn't read the manga for Parasite, so I can't say for that. But for Tokyo Ghoul, oh God, can I agree with that? Tokyo Ghoul Route A has basically
Like-
nothing to do with the manga.
yeah, didn't it skip like a whole bunch of stuff?
Tokyo Ghoul Route A. They called it Route A because it's like an alternate dimension thing. It takes like the first like 30 chapters and does it really faithfully, and then they just suddenly skip to like the end, and then they change the ending to like something that makes no sense. So, oh
I don't know,
God,
I just can't take gore or horror or anything. That's why I stick with cutesy slice
Oh,
of
really?
life stuff. Or at least I'm not a fan. Like I'll like if it's good and like I'm down to watch it. Sure, I'll watch.
okay.
But I'm not like a fan. I wouldn't go out of my way to go and watch it. I'd rather watch like I don't know something from this season that's like sort of more cutesy or something.
Wait, JFan,
Or,
what was
like,
that? What was that
slice
you
of
just
life.
said?
Have you watched Outbreak Company?
Outbreak Company? No.
No.
I think you would enjoy this, boss. It's about like a super heavy otaku who is scouted by the government to use weeb culture to supplant like some like other world culture and like take over.
Oh, you told me
It's really
you told me about this
That
this morning.
sounds- that
Yeah.
sounds- Yeah, I was like, why does that sound familiar? I don't know if you told this morning, but I think I heard it before. It was like, why does it sound so familiar?
It's like the kind of cutesy stuff that you would probably enjoy.
And meanwhile, for you, JFan, I'm gonna highly recommend you watch Parasite because you and I seem to both like that kind of like thinky type thing, and Parasite really does make you think. It's this whole like concept of humanity, survival, and why are we better than anything else? You know?
Because we talk.
Yeah, exactly. Because we can talk. We're
Isn't
sentient.
that-
We're sentient.
I thought that I don't know. I can just sum that up myself.
There you go.
You
Well,
dictate.
no, so I'm saying like you got to watch Parasite to understand it because I can't say it now because if you're gonna watch it, there's like explaining what I mean would spoil it. And there's also a movie that was actually pretty. You know how usually like the anime to live action movies aren't like generally very good.
Generally aren't. What do you mean they aren't? Because you can't.
Well,
That's
no,
why I fear for. That's why
I was
fear
gonna
for Your
say,
Name.
that the Parasite one was great. Was like actually really good. The
Oh.
Parasite live action movie. Like they changed some things, but they changed it for the better actually. Like they changed around a few plot points where it still hit the same points but in a different way. And
Oh.
it was really good. All right. So
I
anything
don't know,
else you
just
guys
gets a
want?
live action just gets a bad rap.
It
That's
it
why I'm
really
saying
does.
Your Name, please.
I'm
Kimi no Na wa,
yo
please.
yo my fingers are crossed. I loved Kimi no Na wa. Like I still love
I
it now.
think we all. I think we all did.
J-Fan, did you actually watch it?
Kimi no Na wa, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
that
then
came
yeah.
out on my birthday. Come on.
Oh wow! Congrats. All right. So
I
yeah,
didn't
anything?
watch it until a bit after. I watched it with my roommate.
Okay.
Like,
It's
It was
it's
really funny. He was like gonna go like drink with his friends, and he was like in tears, and he was like, "I don't know if I can do it."
oh my god.
That's hilarious, dude. That's actually hilarious.
Dude, I could believe it though. That movie was great. Like it made me
It
cry.
was so good.
It actually made me cry. Like it was great. I loved
My
it.
roommate showed his mom. Like he watched that movie with his mom. Come on.
Really?
Like, if that's not a recommendation, I don't know what it is.
Wow.
If you can watch it with your mother,
Dude, that's like putting on the same level as like a Ghibli film then.
It's better.
Uh, yeah, and it's in some ways it is, but Ghibli films hold like a special place for me. So
If you look at it objectively, it's better. But because it's sentimental value, it can compete. That's why.
yeah, sentimental value
But
is true.
if you look at it objectively,
Also,
it's
just
pretty
just
hard.
no, because just
if
the
you take it as a standalone, it's kind of hard to.
yeah, but
It's
come
hard
on,
to
the art in Ghibli films is just like it's beautiful.
Miyazaki coming out of retirement again.
Like for the what what is this, the fifth time now?
Like Kimi no Na wa beat Spirited Away. I gotta.
Fuck, I'm coming back, boys. All right. So I guess any yeah.
Miyazaki hates anime and otakus.
Yes, he came out and said because he hates kind of like what we were saying. He doesn't hate anime itself. He hates the culture that it's created, like the otaku culture.
Yes,
And I'd have to agree with that, honestly. But
it
like,
can get bad, but
yeah,
there are some good
there's a
parts.
reason why like unless I know somebody likes anime, I choose to not talk about it with people because we were talking about this. It's anime itself is kind of like an exclusive niche thing because there's this stigma around it, and you know, but we already covered that. So
Yeah.
yeah. But actually on that note, I was just gonna ask any we've been going for about an hour and 40 now. So any like last topics you guys want to hit on, or if not, I think we could. I think this would be pretty good.
I think this is good.
Yeah, this is a pretty good place to, you know.
Do we not want to touch on any of Foss's topics?
We
Say that for a different time.
we
It's
can
fine.
say that, yeah, and
And
we
they were kind of hit. They were kind of hit. They're like the small bits were kind of hit here and there.
yeah we did we hit a few of them, and honestly, Foss, most of your topics seem to be more like fun things. So
I know they're more fun stuff.
yeah, it's more fun stuff. So I feel like this one for a starter, we're taking it a little more seriously. Next time, maybe if we do it again, we can try to get a more fun with it when we get more comfortable. But yeah, so I guess I feel like this is a pretty good place to end the first podcast then.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So thanks for having you guys. It was really fun. I guess we'll be
Yeah.
back next week, or I guess if we want to do it again next week, probably. We'll see though. All right. So yeah, thanks for the people who stopped by.
Peace.
You want to say goodbye, J-Fan? Oh. All right, that was great. That's a great ending. All right.